So recently I had just finished Planetets. Planetets? Who cares? It's a 2003 science fiction anime animated by Sunrise, same company at animated Code Geass, Cowboy Bebop, Gintama, and many other beloved anime. No, I don't mean that. Anyways, based on the 1999 manga of the same name, created by Makoto Yukimura, who went on to create one of the most popular seinens in the modern day, Vinland Saga. Despite the reputation of Makoto Yukimura, the reputation of Sunrise, and being universally agreed upon to be a great anime by many websites and metrics, no one seems to discuss the anime at all. In this video, I want to discuss why I believe Planetets is a masterpiece, as well as why it seems to be forgotten in today's day and age. I'm Shisui from Philly, and I'll explain to y'all why I believe Planetets is a forgotten masterpiece. Our story takes place in the year 2075, where space is more than just a mystery. There are many organizations and even civilizations on the moon that help facilitate and develop space advancement to as far as humanity can go. After a debris incident in 2068, where a screw cracked the window of a space airplane and severely injured everyone on that plane, the removal of space debris became a necessity. And one of the companies named International Treaty Organization, or INTO for short, we meet Ai Tanaba, a new recruit for the debris section in INTO, jokingly named the half section, for how unserious and quirky everyone in that section really is. Will she be able to live up to her fullest potential in this joke section? The story is split up into two halves. The first half is more focused on character moments, slice of life moments, and world building. While some people believe this part was weak, I think this part is essential to not only building up the second half of the story, but it teaches us about how cruel space really is, as well as learn and become attached to the characters that you are suddenly thrown into the whirlwind of. The second half is more focused on the main final story that Planetets builds up to, as well as hones in on the core themes of what Planetets is trying to push. The idea of your purpose in life, sacrificing everything for your dreams, and politics involving intel and the Space Defense Front. Questioning if it's worth exploring space at all. This format of storytelling is typically done in slow burner animes, namely Steins Gate, High May Remain, and Clannad After Story to name a few, but I believe Planetets executes this format the best because of how great the cast of characters are compared to the other animes I just listed. While these animes have great characters in their own respective shows, Planetets builds a wide variety of interesting characters, each with their own character traits, flaws, and own goals that they work towards. From the great contrast between Tanabe and Hachimaki, both as a relationship and as two different personalities clashing, to all the debris section in general. Fi and Yuri are fantastic characters with great personalities and character arcs that make them very interesting, to Edelgard, Lavi, the Chief, great personalities, great lore that all just seem to have. It's just every character you look at, it's very interesting. You could delve into each character. It's just amazing. Then you have the side characters. You have Claire, Dolph, Hakim, Giggle, Nono, and much more. Simply put, whenever I am watching this show, I'm never bored. It's simple as that. One of the few complaints I've seen for Planetets is how inconsistent the animation is. And while I do agree that some parts are drawn on the weaker side, when the animation needs to be good, it's fantastic. But I can agree it does slightly downgrade at certain points. However, it will never get so egregious to where it ruins the watch experience. It will never get something as bad as something like Black Clover's Witches arc, or One Punch Man Season 3, or Blue Lock Season 2. I do love the art style though, because it displays expressive realism. And what I mean by this, it has a sense of realism while being able to be very expressive to the point where it enhances my enjoyment personally. And don't get me started on the music and sound design. Simply top tier. As for someone who's never been to space before, the sound design feels like I'm someone who's been in space for countless years, and the soundtrack is just great. If you don't want to experience this anime, that's okay, but I'll leave the soundtrack in the description. These songs are straight up fantastic. As a storytelling device, background noise, and just general vibes for me that enhance Planetets to the moon. Overall, I believe Planetets is a perfectly well-rounded anime and does not miss a step on any of its key notes. I've discussed why I feel like Planetets is a masterpiece, but now I'm going to discuss why I feel like this masterpiece has felt forgotten. To my surprise actually, Planetets was actually very popular in Japan, receiving multiple awards, including the Seiun Awards for Best Comic in 2002 and Best Dramatic Presentation in 2005. While never having a volume or a series being in the top 10 most sales in Japan between 1999 and 2005, it seems that it has a good following during that time to warrant not only an anime adaptation, but also get the manga released in North America by 2006. 2003 up to 2005 to admittedly minimal sales. So Planet Test fell into the same category as Serial Experiments Lane, right? With that elitist category. Not really. I would say anime like Lane or Darker Than Black or Techno Eyes has more of a cultural impact in the modern day than Planet Test. So why has Planet Test failed to gain popularity, and not only the initial release in North America, but also today, even when Crunchyroll put Planet Test in their catalog in October 2024? The most common answer I've seen from many Reddit threads is that the anime is old, just ran its course. But to me, that's a boring answer. There are a lot of old anime that still get recognition and even respect from the wide anime community, yet Planet Test isn't one of them. Also, the anime wasn't even popular back in 2003, so I wanted to explain that too. Like, just being old isn't an explanation for why it wasn't popular back in 2003. I knew the problem had to be more than just that. From researching this topic, I believe that Planet Test was released at the wrong time for global audiences to truly enjoy it for what it is. In the late 1990s and throughout the 2000s, shonen and shoujo, specifically action-oriented shonens, were the main focus around this time, like One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Inuyasha, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Fullmetal Alchemist, just to name a few. Popular seinen anime around the 1990s and 2000s, especially in North America, were few and far between. Almost all of them were action-oriented, like Neon Genesis Evangelion, Monster, Akira, and Ghost in the Shell. While some of these shows are inspirations in the West, almost nothing outside the action genre became mainstream until the late 2010s into today. Feels like shonen anime stopped being the only thing people watched in terms of anime in North America. So if older anime like Serial Experiments Lane, Techno Eyes, and Darker Than Black can get the recognition that it deserves, why isn't Planet Test? Let me talk about these three for real quick, and why I believe they're fairly popular despite being underground anime to many. I would say it's aesthetic. It's very easy to see a Lane video, a Techno Eyes video, or Darker Than Black video and just put it on an aesthetic. I would say especially Lane. I think Lane is the big example where you can get that very much lonely girl, very staticky vibe. It's a certain vibe that it has that any more animes like Planet Test really just doesn't have. And Duvet is one of the best songs ever. And it was very popular on TikTok for a good while. So for me, at least, it's easy to understand why these three have a sense of popularity within the anime community for a good while. Planet Test, again, like I just said, can be seen as boring aesthetically, and there's no song that could be as mainstream as Duvet. So it's hard for me to compare Planet Test to something like Serial Experiments Lane, for this argument at least. Another reason I would say Planet Test has been forgotten over the years is because the genre hard science fiction falling off tremendously. Hard science fiction is science fiction, but making it as scientifically realistic as possible to reach the current world that the show wants to represent. The opposite to that is soft science fiction, in which they focus more on the politics and psychology of how the current world in the show has changed the main characters. In North America, hard science fiction peaked tremendously in the 2000s and 2010s with movies like Interstellar, Arrival, The Martian, Primer, The Man from Earth, and many, many, many more. Yet the genre has seemed to fallen off into the 2020s and onward. Why has hard science fiction fallen off? Okay, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you saw a complex show? No, I don't mean in terms of how complex the characters are or how contrived the story points are. I mean in terms of how much background knowledge and lore you need to understand how everything in the show works. Most people in my mind would probably say, not recently. And that's because of how hard it is to want people to understand modern day science in their movies. No one wants to learn quantum physics and all of this advanced science that we've learned today when they're watching a show or movie. Then they want to escape into a world that's unlike ours, and that's very transparent in today's age and just general vibes. Social media has taken over our attention spans that it feels impossible to have people learn insanely complicated topics in a sci-fi film without boring the audience, which is why there's been a huge shift between hard science fiction in the mid 2000s and 2010s to soft science fiction in the 2020s. This is one of the main reasons I would say Planet Test has been forgotten. It's really hard to write quantum physics in a way that doesn't bore your audience or makes it interesting. And Hollywood has definitely seen that too, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why Planet Test hasn't been talked about nowadays. If you've been following my argument so far, my argument feels a little weird, no? Hard science fiction was prevalent in the 2000s and 2010s, yet if Planet Test couldn't get its foot off the ground? The simple answer is yes. Especially in North America and even today, many people don't respect animation for being able to convey themes and strong messages like what live action movies did to the growing majority. A genre may be popular, but created in the wrong form of medium, and it can get swept under the rug just as easily. It's such a sad tale to me. The series that was made at the right time, yet never reached the global audience it should have due to its medium. I wonder if Planet Test would have had more global success if it had a live action adaptation, or was just originally a live action TV show, similar to how Breaking Bad was. Maybe it would have been revolutionary. But alas, that's how the cookie crumbles for Planet Test. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how forgotten any piece of media may be, it will always have its supporters. Planet Test still has a fandom to this day praising how unappreciated its anime and manga actually are. And whether or not I have convinced you to give Planet Test a chance, I hope you get the chance to look up to the stars tonight and truly admire what's up there. And think about the people working effortlessly to save your life without you even knowing it. Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day.